bad, Mary, for that too sweet playing. Welcome, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is U.S. Comics Cast, Chapter 2, Episode 6. 2 topics, 60 minutes for the people. I'm John Rivera, the CEO and co-founder of U.S. Comics.
And if this swole bitch is the CEO, that must make me Charlie Rivera, the COO and other co-founder of U.S. Comics, a.k.a. the oldest 35-year-old on the planet, about to be the youngest 36-year-old in all the multiverse.
I have to automatically... I know we're barely seconds into this episode, but I automatically have to disagree with you. You are about to be the oldest 35-year-old because on the calendar it says 36. But just like our mother, I fully do not anticipate you admitting shit.
You know
in
what?
The core life. Charlie's
Fun fact,
like,
you are so used to my lines and my special brand of bullshit. I actually said I was the oldest 35-year-old, youngest 36-year-old, because I am not only Boom Boom, I am also, as well as the birthday boy in just a matter of days. What'd you get me?
Just hours away. You know what it is, and
Gifts,
I got you, and I wrapped it up already. I'm not telling you. I will tell you this, though. It was this close to being wrapped in Christmas paper because that shit was originally a Christmas gift.
You know what? I don't care how the gift is wrapped. It could be wrapped with like, Charlie, you're a fat piece of garbage who's bad at podcasting. I'm like, cool. John, don't actually make that product.
Interesting.
Do not. How are you
not
doing?
Bad. Charlie,
what
can I tell you, dude? Here we are, comic book day, and we are still fresh. The rumblings, the echoes of Super Bowl Sunday are still hanging in the air.
Oof.
You know, it was one of those games. It was just one of those games that you were like, how can I be this fucking bored while simultaneously being angry at the end result and annoyed at the officiating? It was a real miracle of sports, if I must say so.
Here's the thing. The most popular comic book movie is probably the Avengers when they finally fucking killed Thanos. It would not have been that satisfying had Thanos not built himself up as this mega level villain.
Sure.
So the good
Grimace
news
had a lot of work to do.
The good news about Super Bowl Sunday this year is all it did was make the legend of that utter douche, Tom Brady. What's great is the higher Brady gets lifted, the cooler our Captain America himself.
I am watching our New England fans dump out of the program. Well done, Charlie.
Fine.
Well done.
They have everything else. Piece of garbage.
All I can say is this. For their sake, I just hope that in the pages of U.S. Comics, no huge battle happens in like Boston, because then they would be really mad at us.
Spoiler alert, the only way that the Battle of Boston could be more impressive is if Eli Manning saved the day while still not being able to tie his laces.
We have not yet come to terms with that cameo, and I do not envy the son of a bitch that has to draw in that neck into a comic. But again, we just put the Super Bowl behind us, and the game was what it was. Some people got what they were rooting for, some people didn't. Some people largely didn't give a shit. But we were all there for the commercials. Well, the snacks naturally, but the commercials. And I have to say, man, full disclosure, there was an open line of communication. Yes. Obviously, with social distancing, we were not able to be with everyone who we would like to be with, ideally on a Super Bowl Sunday. But I had a text thread going with Charlie. I had a text thread going with Andrew and Sean and Casey. We had a text going by to Barney and Brian, and it was live. It was live. There was, did you see that? What about this? And I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm just talking about movie trailers.
Yeah, I think the I don't know about you, but the one I'm looking the most forward to is that mayonnaise fairy. That shit looks hilarious. That what? That's not a
I
movie trailer. Not a one of my
don't
favorite comedians continues to fall.
don't
Okay, cool.
don't tempt fate. If she shows up in a Marvel flick, I'm coming straight to your front door and banging on it like the wolf trying to get to them piggies.
Just a middle aged
Wolf
squirrel girl.
magoof.
That's the only way
Listen,
that could
she's
work
doing
for
her
me.
thing. She's getting her paper. Much respect. She got she got the kid under the covers. She got another one on the way. Look, it is what it is. No, but
You
there
need
were
that Mayo money, baby.
listen exactly. Kids got to go to college. Hellman's gonna pay for it. But yeah, no, for me specifically, when that I refuse to call it F9. When Fast 9 trailer dropped,
Oh, how
I was
ridiculous.
quick than thumb action to get to my boy Charlie because I know you were hyped up.
Just so you I don't know how Fast and Furious keeps doing it because I'm as hyped up as I am utterly humiliated that I enjoy that franchise. That is the dumbest it's such garbage,
It
but it
is.
is like that 1983 delicious garbage. When Vin Diesel has a straight face when he's like, I miss it so much. Like a bad Stallone impersonation. He misses the life. You have 8 movies under your belt of the life. In real life, he would be so sick of it. He's like, I want to go back to my like deli stand because this sucks.
I always look at franchises and TV series as well in the same way. If there's been X amount of sequels, or if a show has been on TV for X amount of years, I always equate them to something like, well, again, we'll look at the Fast and the Furious franchise. The Fast and the Furious, if they were a person in college, they would be a doctor. They would be a doctor of useless, stupid bullshit.
Instead, they're pulling a Van Wilder. They're just like fighting off graduation.
Oh,
They're in their 9th
no,
semester.
but I'm saying they have a 9-year medical student. You're like, this motherfucker. He could open you up, give you liposuction, give you a heart transplant, and teach you how to dance before he zip. Like he or she would install a zipper because there were zip like so often going into your body and having their way with you. And frankly, the Fast and the Furious franchise has very much been having their way with you, Charlie. Where's your zipper?
Show us your zipper. Showing up. I'm like, let me see the tank top with the religious symbol on your chest.
Oh my goodness.
With that being said, one could argue that my love and affection for Fast and Furious is not totally deserved, and it comes from like just built credit. However,
one could argue that, yeah.
However, the gift that keeps on giving, and so far they just keep proving my money right, is Marvel. That Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer is goddamn Charm City, and all I want.
It's a buddy cop story. Just like what they're doing so well, especially with the Disney Plus installments. They're throwing stuff at us, but they're not just giving us 30-minute versions of the Marvel cinematic experience. They're going to give us Disney Plus experiences that feel different from property to property, which God bless them. Marvel, good for you.
You know, if anyone was disappointed by the last Bad Boys, congratulations. You're about to get a Disney Plus version that like it feels like the best of that genre. I would watch the two of them have a staring contest for a month straight. I just cannot wait. And they do things so miraculously well intentioned. The Falcon kind of pulling a Captain America to Bucky is such like a great 3-level gag. One, it's Falcon, motherfucker flies. So like, he doesn't need it. But it's that sort of like the energy that Captain America never had. The fact that there's like a Super Bowl-esque game going on that the knockoff Captain America's at. There's again Charm City.
Only Charlie could give a backhanded compliment to a Marvel property. He's like, yeah, Bucky's dope and Falcon's great. Fuck Captain America. Yeah, and they were like at the Super Bowl. Like, did you
I
think you
didn't
were gonna
mean
slip it in?
I didn't mean America's
Unbelievable,
ass. I mean the
unbelievable.
knockoff Captain America.
Charlie's about to give
Flag
Chris
Smasher
Evans
is my
a
favorite.
run for the title of America's ass. But you know what? It was obviously it was great to see, especially in this kind of COVID era that we're all living under, but to see big stories being teased with these trailers, which is it's part of the price of admission,
My God,
so to speak. But I was jazzed up for a kind of a smaller installment, and very much within the comic book universe, was Old. So Old, for anyone who is unaware, Old, M. Night Shyamalan's newest installment, which obviously, look, we all know there's nowhere to go but up for my what a twist, brother. Old is based on the graphic novel Sandcastle, which is just dynamite. It's a great concept. They put an awesome cast in place, and talk about these productions that they happened in spite of, fill in the blank, like the world falling apart, pandemic, in spite of. They filmed in the Caribbean during a hurricane season. A hurricane hit, wiped out their entire set. They dug themselves out, like, well, rebuild it. We still got a movie to finish. And they did it. And that movie's about to drop.
Do you think someone went to M. Night when like the set's destroyed, costumes are up in trees and shit? Do you think someone was like, what a twist, am I right? And M. Night was like, fuck Larry, fuck you, you're fired.
If there's a dead body that at some point in the movie washes up on shore, all mangled and beaten up and like property of M. Night Shyamalan pencils stuck into their head and neck area, then yes, I do think somebody came up with that joke.
There's something so, and again, obviously we love it. We made a show about it. There's something so cool about the kind of 4-color funny book universe, because something like Old doesn't necessarily feel like like it comes from the comic book world.
A comic book that lands in front of you that doesn't have a character in spandex and a cape and swinging giant hammers and swords is not the first thing that people think of when they think of comic books or even graphic novels. Graphic novels as standalones, I think, have more of a they have a more of an open field of possibility of content that they can write towards. But look at some of like the best graphic novels ever, Mouse. Like, you're gonna tell me you're gonna give me the Jewish Nazi experience with mice, and I'm gonna love every second of it. Palestine. I mean, even 300, something like 300, which went on to become many people's one of their favorite movies, like very stylistic and just a little bit off color with some of the depictions. But that all being said, you don't think of like Greek hero stories. I almost called it a legend. It's not. It's not. Yeah. But like you don't think of these things as an automatic translation to the comic book format. But man, oh man, do they translate well? Old is another example.
Yeah, and again, and that's the thing. Like these comic book epics and things that feel very comic booky and feel stuff that they're trying to turn into franchises, clearly leaning on this kind of bajillion dollars comic book stuff is made. The Super Bowl is great. These commercials are great, but also simultaneously to the big game, there was a ton of trailers also having extended cuts released on YouTube.
Yes.
I can't remember if it showed up during the game. I feel like a 30-second spot did, but did you see the new like expanded look at Top Gun? That was labeled as like it's Super Bowl.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, it again. They didn't really show any new footage, but the repackaging of the footage we've already seen is just like fucking.
Do they do the bottomless version of the volleyball game? Because we got a little time to kill here before we get into topics.
Those YouTube drops of the extended looks were awesome, and again, that's really where I super consume this content, because you can watch it 4 or 5 times in a row.
Well, Zilla Khan gave additional footage.
which was
so people
also,
could get into.
dude. If I don't know if you said it
It's
on the show,
I
but
think.
if
No, I think it
you
was private, but
if
whatever.
you
It's out there
straight
now.
up, I was like, I think I see Mechagodzilla. You're like, that looks like a fucking
I'm like,
blur, but maybe.
no way,
And
boo!
then
Shut
you
up,
literally
moron.
went all the way to like, I think Mechagodzilla's the main fucking enemy. To
Hey,
which,
Charlie, I have a theory. I fucking think Mechagodzilla's in this movie, kid.
and it's so funny too, because I've been making the joke of like we're one movie away from 11 from Stranger Things, like piloting a giant mech suit to fight other, like, fucking bring it on. Like, a lot of people complain that the Super Bowl, the commercials are so expensive, all you get are these like little snippets. That Godzilla Kong snippet brought me right back to
Great.
the energy level of the first trailer.
Well, but
Those trailers have been
this is
dynamite.
something I think that was done very intentionally, and something else that we've spoken about pretty thoroughly, I think here. Number one, trailer making is its own art form, right?
100%.
I could make a very happy career out of being a director of trailers.
Yeah.
Because it does more than just sell the movie. We talk about it again. It needs to do so. Sell the movie without giving everything away. If you're just giving every product away, that doesn't make you a good salesman, dum-dum. You need to sell it. You need to titillate. You need to tantalize. You need to give the potential consumer a proverbial "how's your father" on their undercarriage. You really need to bring them along with you, get them into the theaters or get them onto the couch, what have you. And sometimes trailers are just very, very bad about it. They give you everything.
Yeah,
and you're
there's
sitting there at
nothing-
the movie angry. You're like, there's why am I here? Or they undersell it, and you don't see it until it's playing on like TBS.
Yeah.
2 years later.
You're like, I missed it. I could have been enjoying this video.
Now here's the thing, though, real quick before I lose the thought, because that happens to me at my age. One thing that they did say for the Super Bowl trailer specifically was you got to see Zilla. Ooh, slip the jab. Ooh, slip the jab. Up to that point, at least speaking for myself, it was largely a Godzilla getting his ass whooped. It looked like, again, I throw it back to Iron Mike all the time. It looked like round one, the 30-second mark, the first time that Iron Mike threw that cross, you're like, whoop. That was a solid $60. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Yeah, I legitimately had the thought after the first trailer, which I think is brilliant. I think the first trailer and this follow-up trailer to Kong versus Zilla, I think they've been utterly perfect. I think
they've been good. They've been really good.
Perfect trailers. But from the other side of that first trailer, having rewatched it now after seeing the kind of Zilla punch heard around the world, it was a lot
Zilla
of Kong being like,
ooh.
Kong brought the hammer in that first trailer, and this is like legit. If this trailer was Zilla like wiping off a little blood, looking like full on Bruce Leroying it,
Godzilla's like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
He does that weird thing where he just glides on his tail from like the fucking shitty 70s movie.
He's like, Michelle. You know what, though? I do got to say, because I know we probably should get started because the show's over at this point. One of the things that trailers need to do is, as I mentioned before, they need to titillate. They need to cast the lure and reel you in. I was sitting here like this, like outer lip stuck out. Like I look like Forrest Gump's friend. I had to had to be careful with my bottom lip that I didn't hit any tripwires with it.
Just describing
I was just pissed. And I had less than zero intentions of watching Superman and Lois. That trailer caught me, man. That trailer caught me. I am declaring it now.
That's a miracle.
I will be in attendance in front of the 65-inch to watch Superman and Lois. And you know, it's funny. My own words came back to haunt me / slap me in the face. Give me the Godzilla counter. I was actually talking to friend Jordan, and we were talking about some of the continuing adventures of characters that we throw out there. Actually, I think this was part of the Batman / Zorro conversation we had last week. And I said myself, I said, look, you take it's very simple. Let me educate you for a question you didn't ask about. You take a character, you boil them down to their brass tacks. You boil them down to their core. The simplistic explanation. They explain it to me like I'm a third grader version of a character. You take that character and you stick them in the freezer. You get them all hard and solidified, and you say, "This is who this character is." Then you take that character and then you place them in a new situation, something that we haven't seen before, but they still staying true to their core elements, and you send them down the road, and now you have something that people want to see. And Charlie, did I not just describe Superman and Lois? Like, wasn't that the nickel pitch, the elevator pitch for the damn show? I described to myself the show I wanted to see one of my favorite characters in, and was like, "No, I'm not gonna watch this." Oh shit! Wait, no, the trailer basically took me by the front of my shirt, shook me, gave me one across the face, one across the back, and said, "Hey, stupid! This is what you asked for. Here it is." And I acquiesced.
The weird thing about it, and then we will move on. But the one thing that really stuck with me and haunted me a bit was like every decision that they made and announced, I was screaming boo at. Yes. And then I saw it put together, and I had the very same like, "Oh, that looks pretty good." And I'm so good now at compartmentalizing feelings, because I realize that they're not, despite what I'm going to probably still say every day, my definitive version of any particular character. It is my definitive version. If I get to tell a Superman story, is Lois and Superman the story I'm going to tell? Absolutely not. With that being said, the same as American Alien from Max Landis, the same as this new show, I love when someone takes a toy I enjoy and they're like, "What if Stay Puft was in a rock band?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, let's
Stay Puft in space."
It's that thing where I'm very good at not poo-pooing someone's idea. Even if I think it's dumb, I'm like, "Go on. You're going to add Dazzler as a main X-Man? Proceed. Let's see what happens." Because not everything can be Coming to America 2, where I'm like, the title, the actors, and the trailer. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
They could have just put up a blank screen with the words "Coming to America 2," and people are like, "Yeah!"
It really is that.
All I know, we got to see all these returning characters and locations that we were, if someone was going to come to you conceptually about a Coming to America sequel, you would have taken out, your notebook and said, "Well, it's got to have this, and it better have this, and better have this." But I saw what would have been number one on my personal list. The dude that I would have insisted needed to make a reappearance. And it was none other than, "She's your queen to be."
That boy good.
A queen to be forever. Oh, I'm so happy to see him, man.
Just fantastic.
All right, Charlie, what do you
I don't
say,
think
dude?
we could do. There is a rule before we get started. 20 minutes in.
That's valid, yeah.
Han shot first, baby.
Han shot first. Cheers, baby.
Delicious.
Even went down the right pipe for once.
My brother, we had an incredible teaser drop last week for US Comics. What's coming down the line?
Charlie, I got to tell you, there's been a lot has been happening on the desk / drafting table / occasional lunch, keep it above the dogs. Like, "Hey, what do you got?" Like, make the stand-up, sit-down desk, crank it all the way up so that, the smell doesn't get into their faces. There's been a lot going on this desk. The pen has been flying. The ink has been spurting all over the place. But I do have to tell you that this week coming in the U.S. Comics universe is actually a little bit of a departure. Basically, what I want to go ahead and promote is the upcoming episode of How About This? Yes, that's right. The I don't want to call it a brother podcast to our own, but it's like a cousin podcast, right? So this is How About This, starring Bad Mary's own Mike, starring U.S. Comics own Jordan. And this week, on a very special episode, co-starring U.S. Comics' very own CEO, John Rivera. Boy, oh boy, did I have a good time sitting in. Those guys know a lot about a lot. I know a little bit about a little bit, but that little bit was what they were interested in. So we had a good time. I'm very anxious to for everybody to hear it. So if you guys enjoy this even a little bit, I promise you'll enjoy that a little bit more. I hope you guys enjoy my special guest appearance.
I love it. I love it. I got to talk to those boys about getting on. I will not be usurped. Damn
Make
it.
sure you phrase it better, because otherwise you're just asking for a little help.
That's true. That's true. John,
Yes, sir.
start my time, baby. We took our shot. We did the news. I need to get a rolling, baby.
Here it goes.
There we go. John, have you ever been in a new relationship and everything's going great, and then it just starts, it's going down that road where it's great, it's great, it's great. And then almost, even though things are great, they're putting out more effort and more effort. And you're just like, I need to nap now. Like,
Why are you trying so hard, cuz?
you can't be,
What are you hiding?
it becomes suspicious. Like, listen, I know I'm delicious, but I don't need to be kissed up on when I got morning breath. I don't need, if you just bought me a PlayStation, I don't need an Xbox. At some point I go like, cool, you jets, we're going too fast. This is too much.
This sounds more like a conversation for the therapist, not myself, but I'll give it a whirl.
I'm going to keep going because free therapy every Wednesday. This is what Spider-Man 3 is doing to me.
Oh boy.
So the big news is allegedly one of my favorite performers of all time in all the multiverse, Neo himself, John Wick himself, Ted Theodore Logan himself, is coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And no, he's not going to fight Punisher for who's the best gunsmith. No, he's not. He's allegedly going to play Kraven in Spider-Man. Now, a lot of the internet was like, we want Carl Urban. A lot of people were like, Keanu's too cool for it. He needs to be menacing. To which I say, and this isn't my topic, but go fuck yourself. Keanu Reeves, Reeves does what Reeves does. Man, you ask him, and if he's passionate, he's going to knock it out of the park. I'm not saying he hasn't had some stinkers. What I am saying is his fucking hits. Don't come at me with Matrix 3 if you're not going to acknowledge Matrix 1. Don't talk shit about replicants unless you're talking to me about John Wick 1, 2, and 3. So if he does play Kraven, he's going to fucking be awesome and you're going to love it. However, 2 weeks ago, they were like, hey, Charlie, how about some Daredevil in Spider-Man 3? And I said, oh, that could be cool. And then I started doing math, and I'm like, okay, Keanu and Daredevil, that's pretty dope. What's that? You're going to bring in Tobey Maguire? Weird. What's that? You're going to bring in my brother in his khaki pants in the middle of the goddamn Spectacular Spider-Man? Oof. For those of you who don't know, the CEO of US Comics is in a Marvel movie, Spectacular Spider-Man 2, boring-ass graduation scene, the crotch heard around the world, behind Aunt my brothers, Oof. Twig and Berries. We'll give you the timestamp. This fucking movie.
Day of weather for the crotch.
Dude. The same exact mistake that took down the original Spider-Man 3 was too many damn characters. And this movie is allegedly going to have 3 Spider-Men, 9 villains.
The list is getting longer. If I can just interject, Charlie.
Please do.
I know even for an accredited therapist, it's a lot of ground to cover. First mostly, as our boy Nick Crow would say, I am personally offended when you were going through the hits of Kanunu that you left out Heaver the goaltender that just mysteriously disappears in the middle of Youngblood. How very dare you, sir. You better recognize. Check yourself, son. Okay? Check yourself. You might not make it to that next birthday. But yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from. Now, people have made light of the potential situation, like, oh, we bet we better. I just thought about it and laughed, and I was just,
What was
that's
it?
a
That
joke
also is
about
like
the joke. Yeah,
a
yeah.
very
I
masculine Pee Wee Herman.
visualized, I
Just
visualized the joke that I was just about to make fun of, and it made me laugh. So, yet another self-correction by yours truly. People have said, and they were right to do so, this movie better have that meme moment where the three Spider-Men are pointing to each other, which, let's face it, that is hilarious. Now that I thought about it, it made myself laugh. But yeah, what I think, Charlie, and this is just my best guess, much in the same way that that I sleuthed that we're probably getting Mecha Godzilla, and I did it all by myself. Charlie had nothing to do with it. I think that what's going to happen is we are indeed going to get this deluge of characters. However,
ooh.
unlike the prior mistakes that have been made, particularly in the Spider-Man realm, I don't think that it's the overabundance of characters that we need to pay close attention to. I think we're gonna get these characters that they're teasing us, but I think they're gonna be more in the realm of cameos, like quick hits, right?
Like a montage
Like
a la
jungle
Rocky?
fighting. Maybe in a montage, maybe. I mean, if it's a montage, it better have a sick 80s soundtrack behind it. But no, I think it's gonna be more so just like little moments, and you'll see this person, you'll see that person. I think obviously it's gonna be obviously they're going to have to deal in the realm of the multiverse. So I think probably it's gonna, and I must admit I have not seen the script. For whatever reason, they didn't think that it was a necessity to send it to yours truly, the
Bastards.
CEO of US Comics. But if I had to guess, I would say that likely he's just in and out of realities, multiverse, blah blah blah, and that
Oh,
we're
see, I
not going
didn't
to get
even think that maybe
extended.
he's the one bouncing around.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. Just logicking the story, right? Like doing the elevator pitch for that. You couldn't possibly say, oh yeah, and then he's going to spend a half an hour with Craven the Hunter, and then he's spend another half hour with Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, and so on and so forth.
That
I,
right there solves
and
so many problems.
if I may, and then I'll hand it over to
I
you.
don't believe you, but yes, go ahead.
I'm going to do it. This is my only gift. What I think is, in very much the same fashion that we know that this Spider-Man 3 was heavily, heavily inspired by Into the Multiverse by Miles' story, where what we got was kind of a collection of these other Spider-Man, and then they maintained throughout the story. Yeah, we got Miles Morales by himself and an exploration of the character for a window of time, but then when the shit really hit the fan, it was like a team up, right? And we know that this movie is going to have multi faces, but I don't believe that it's going to be like the gang's all here now situation where the entire collection of them carries throughout the 2 hours, what have you, of the length of the movie. I don't think it's going to be like that, but I think the animated movie's fault that was your expectation. Charlie, you're perfect and beautiful and very young, so it's an understandable mistake to make, but I don't think that that's going to be the case.
I mean, it's the best way to invert it, because Into the Spider-Verse is it's pretty perfect for me as a moviegoer. It feels very much like the first Iron Man. It feels very much like Chris Reeve in Superman. There is a certain matter of like, even if there is the passing thought of like, oh, interesting that they did this, maybe I would. It doesn't matter. I pop in that disc and I'm like, yay! That's the feeling. And kind of subverting that expectation, and almost, I hate to deny the world this, but maybe denying the world that moment where the three are pointing at each other, and instead having him be in a world where suddenly what's the staff with the blade at the end called? A spear? Having one of Craven's spears come by and like he spider senses to dodge it, and it's Keanu and he drops a couple cool Craven lines until Tobey Maguire kicks him in the fucking head. That could be that is
Sure.
something that
Who's not to
I
say
think is the
that
best
one of the
way.
other Spider-Man are duking it out with Craven, and it's Keanu
Yeah.
Craven, because we haven't seen Craven, if I'm not mistaken, in any other
No,
iteration that
that's
we've
well,
done. So
that's the
he could belong
best
to
part.
any of the other Spider-Man,
And I
and
think
who's not to say who's going to come over?
yeah, and
Right?
I think what's really special about this time in Marvel, but to a lesser extent Sony, because obviously they kind of participate in this Spider-Man, and they're always looking for Spider-Man properties.
Make us money.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Disney overlords. There is something really, really cool about the idea of what this opens up, because you think about the last two Spider-Men, you think about some of these cameos. These are now characters who potentially could have a Disney Plus show, could have you don't need the weight of another movie that's sometimes harder to grasp. WandaVision has once again very much changed the infrastructure of superhero media, because you could be like, hey, guess what? Toby said he would do a 6-part miniseries. We're gonna go back to that world, and let's bring everybody back.
I don't know. Tobey Maguire has a very busy slate. Oh wait, no, he doesn't. He's not doing shit. Oh, all he's doing is gambling and taking millions of dollars off of people that can't afford it. Cool. Yeah, let's put him as himself.
He funds this shit himself. He's like, that's right, I'm back, baby. Because you like for
Funny
me,
story. I'm just gonna go ahead and name drop this motherfucker real quick.
Oh God.
Did you watch Molly's Game?
Yes. I know it's good old Spider-Man.
It's him. He is the douche. He is
like,
the
let's
douche.
get Scott Pilgrim to play.
So like who? What other Hollywood A-lister? Well, B-lister.
How dare you?
Are we gonna go ahead and plug in where we can't be sued with like, look, you really portrayed me in a very unfashionable. Who the hell was gonna put 2 and 2 together? I had to lose a few mil to just to I'm like, wait a minute, this was you, motherfucker. This was him.
The worst is on the other side of that movie when it came out that good old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was in fact the guy. The best is a line that allegedly he has fully embraced as being true, which is he said something, and it's not an exact quote, so I apologize, but he's like, money won is so much better than money earned. And it's like, oh, I want to
even if that was his direct quote, it's not his. That quote has been around since before poker was poker.
Fair enough. I want to party with a motherfucking Tobey Maguire so bad.
But
in fact,
if
that was my movie, that would be the scene.
He plays most parts where he's like, entertain me, dance clown. Like that's how, even when he's playing parts that look, the evil Spider-Man dance is telling enough. Like I'm sure that was not choreographed. They just come up with like, all right, dance like a douchebag. He's like, dance like I just millions of dollars away for somebody who can't afford it. You got it.
That was that was actually
he knew what to do.
That was right after
that was after
night.
a game.
The hair, the black under the eyes, the suit. He showed up to set like that. He's like 1-3 million, baby. He's just making out with extras.
3-day bender.
Just the best.
Free shrimp hanging off his ear.
Here's my question though, because I do feel a lot better at the notion that like, oh, they don't have to do the Into the Spider-Verse way. They could be original. It didn't even occur to me that was possible. But with the always trying to be positive, who else now? Now that we're getting all these characters, who else would you want to see a cameo for? Now, for me, I'll throw one out there for you while you kind of piece it up or piece it together. We have a bunch of characters that we're like about to see. Throw him, especially if they do this gimmick where he is kind of popping into these different spots in the multiverse. That's the first time I want to see Blade, our brand new shiny Blade. And if we're gonna deal with vampires, and if it doesn't have to be canonical to their stories, what if it's straight up he falls into a fight between Morbius and Blade? And we just see a couple moments of it. Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. It would be like a trailer within the body of a movie.
Yeah.
Like just somebody should just pop and be like, see you in 6 months.
Just like
Bring you at it.
Morbius is like sucking on someone's blood. Next thing we do is we see like a leather red lined coat, and I'm gonna butcher his name, so I'm not gonna say it. Help me out here, the actor playing
Mahershala
Blade.
Ali.
I would have ruined that. So I didn't even try. I'm getting old.
He's like, 2 words. Sounds like.
But how great would it be him just like dicing off one of Morbius's buddies' heads? And you just get this, like, how great would that be?
That would
that's
be
the first
a
look.
solid no sell. Because like they were like, well, gosh, golly gee willikers, I hope that we can get these characters together one day. I mean, that would be like intern at 30 Rock level cold sell. That'd be dynamite. I did a little. A couple of things have come my way. I always have my ears to the rail, but I heard that potentially this isn't so much like an I want, but I think maybe we're gonna get some combination of Chris Evans.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about, okay, well, are we gonna get like Chris Evans when he went back in time and he's still Captain America and around? No. They're talking about maybe getting Captain Hydra Chris Evans. They're talking about maybe getting Johnny Storm Chris Evans.
How
like
fucking great would be like flame on?
It opens up the entire catalog, so to speak. You know what would be great? And I'm just gonna write this on the fly, just to maybe a little bit of a resume put out there, a little bit of an application to the folks that powers that be. What if our Spider-Man, our this universe of Spider-Man, sees Chris Evans, and he's like, "Oh shit, Cap, you have no idea," and he just thinks it's Rogers, like
he just turns into this huge douchebag.
No, not even. He goes up to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's all this trouble. We need to go help these people, and I can't do it myself." He's like, "You got it, kid. Flame on!" And then he's Johnny Storm.
How
he's
great!
Like, Captain America,
how great would it be? And again, just awesome. adding to your gimmick, we just see the back of the costume. And it looks like his stealth suit. We see America's ass in navy blue, but he turns and you just see the 4. Oh, that'd be so fucking awesome. Know what else I would love in this world where we're getting different Spider-Men?
Another Chris Evans ass quote from Charlie?
It's not. There's more coming. Don't worry. You have a whole segment after this. It's not Scarlet Spider-Man. It's not Ben.
Thank God.
It's not Spider-Man 2099. What if we just suddenly saw the giant mech suit from the Japanese television show Spider-Man?
Oh,
so what if they have like their Mechagodzilla moment?
That'd be too much. That would be on the level of Spider-Ham. Unless you're gonna have
Spider-Ham.
Unless Mulaney is gonna voice your terrible Japanese non-canonical version. Obviously, again, the opportunities. We were talking about this at a different juncture about this is an opportunity to bring in the mutants, depending on like what happens here, and obviously with Doctor Strange, and he's going to be rolling with Scarlet Witch, and she'll have a lot to do with it too. But I think that there is going to be some kind of bleeding of realities, bleeding of universes, one into the other, because that would allow you to introduce characters that are fully formed. Similar to actually this version of Spider-Man. This is the one time we didn't have to see poor Uncle Ben get it. We didn't have to go through the hither and yon of why he lives with now hot Aunt. Instead, we got a fully formed, young, early in the career situation Spider-Man, but like he's already Spider-Man.
Yeah,
we can do that with Wolverine. We can do that with Professor X. We can do that with Magneto. Obviously, with Scarlet Witch running around, there's a lot of opportunity. Matter of fact, you can import as many of the prior Fox iterations that we've gotten already, the ones that worked. I mean, you could literally get away with having what they've tried to do, like, oh, here's old Professor X and young Professor X. Like, come on, what the fuck are you doing? You're literally at this place where now you can have the same actors like Chris Evans situation who have played multiple characters,
dude, face to face with themselves. Fun, and that's one of the things that
you just fucking nailed it, Charlie. And this exactly is the reason why Marvel, if it was a competition, is winning the game. Marvel movies, largely, and naturally there are exceptions.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Thor, too. Marvel movies are mostly fun. Oh!
That is the line to go out on. They are mostly fun.
They're fun.
John, my man, let's pay some bills. Nice. Let's pay some bills, baby. You start us off.
Look, sometimes you need a break from reality. And there's one man that does it better than most. And he does it right here on Facebook Gaming. It is Sergeant Finesse. 2 streams a day. Outstanding gaming content, supporter games, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today. Throw him a like, a follow. Consider becoming a supporter. While you're at it, do the same shit for us because we need it. If you need a pick-me-up, follow the White Rabbit down to sneakenergy.com and use code SGT at checkout. If you're looking for some fresh new gear, Goonie Google, go to geeksunleashed.com. Use code SARGE at checkout there. When the Sarge is on deck, you salute. GG, son. Need me a drink.
Very well done. Mine is not going to be that good of an ad read. Every single episode. I'm just trying to choke you. Every single episode of US Comics Cast starts with one of my absolute favorite songs, one of my favorite bands, Bad Motherfucking Mary. Mary.
That's their full name. That's what you call them when they get in trouble. Like, Bad Motherfucking Mary, get over here. Did you spill your coffee on the couch?
The best part is we're just minutes away from hearing one of their tunes in full because that's how we end every episode. You can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Bad Mary Band. You can go to their website, buy merch, buy CDs, buy stickers, badmary.com. You could just throw money at them. My biggest suggestion, throw handfuls of money at them.
Paper money. Be gentle.
I mean, you could dollar coins count. They'll deal with it. They'll dodge.
You know what? In this COVID age, just Venmo. Just Venmo
a little Venmo. Patreon.com/Bad Mary. My favorite part is they stream on every single music platform. You can look them up, Bad Mary. My new favorite thing, though, let's say we've gone 106 episodes deep. You have heard hundreds of Bad Mary tunes from us. New Bad Mary music every month. We're getting a brand new song. So that means every month we will be playing one of their brand new songs right here at the end of our episodes. You can check it out again on any streaming service. Badmary.com on all that social media. Bad Mary, they're one of my favorite bands.
For good reason.
I know they're going to be one of your favorite bands.
I do have to say this, and far be it from me to don't cut me off when I'm correcting you. Far be it from me to interject on Charlie when he's ranting, because most of the rants are spot on. If my math is correct, I'm pretty sure it hasn't been hundreds of songs. Their catalog is big. It's not quite that big, but eventually, once we're up to US Comics Cast episode 500, yes, then the numbers will be accurate. But yeah,
you've listened to dozens of Bad Marys.
You've listened to dozens of songs several times over, granted, and that's the way it should be. Let's face it. But Charlie, at this point in the game, there's really only one thing left to do, mother sucker, mother. Let's start my clock.
Started.
Damn. No sound effects. Sounds good. Okay. So we've talked about multiverses. We have talked about characters being brought back from the dead. We've talked about franchises that were picked up off the dust heap, dusted off, and propped back up on the top shelf where they belonged. But Charlie, how many times have we gotten a reclamation project twice over? How many times has that happened? I mean, even in Wally, when he was like plucking the good garbage, separating it from the good garbage from the bad, he didn't have doubles. Like it was not like a pop Funko. You're like, ah, shit. I got two Jon Snows. You want one? No, it was not one of those situations. You're not like, oh, I got a chase of Wesley with the mask on, which by the way, I do. And I happen to get him in the wild, which is unheard of. Ooh, Wesley. Good job. Good job. Um, but I will say this, and actually I'll help myself out with some props as well. I will say this, and I'm not complaining about it. I don't want to be misconstrued. I'm just saying, I'm calling things out as they are. So our boy, our inspiration of so many things that we do here and in life, quite frankly, and the way we dress in public, Kevin Smith, he dropped on his own personal socials some good, like a real pick-me-up for this guy, for this 80s kid. It was one of those, ooh, let me stand up and pay attention. So Kevin Smith is directly involved. He is directing, overseeing how whatever the terminology that's used. Yeah, for animated projects. He is the guy, the man behind He-Man Revelation, which is on Netflix. It's a 2D project, which brings back to us in the forefront where he belongs, none other than Prince Adam in the flesh. He-Man. He has the power. He ain't afraid to use it, son. So we are getting a Kevin Smith-led He-Man 2D project on Netflix, which is awesome. So his particular post actually gave us a sneak peek or a sneak listen, if you will, to the audio introduction, the new hyped up audio introduction, like beginning
so
of the
good.
I have a power moment and Cringeor making the changeover, the whole 9 yards, which is dynamite. But it did, however, spark in me the realization that, wait, don't we have now? Let me backtrack. So Kevin Smith's He-Man is a continuation.
It's a straight up part
after
2.
The fact. It's a sequel after the fact. This huge gap from the 80s when the He-Man cartoon went off the air. Not on my computer or desk. I mean, for the general public. So he is now telling a story, which, if I'm not mistaken, is actually largely centered around Teela. Like, yeah, Teela is the proverbial man in this series that we're going to get, which I'm all for. Teela was my straight up first plastic crush. I have since met and known other plastic women who have replaced her in the crush department.
That
but
is
she
not
was my
nice
first.
to talk about your exes like that.
She was my first.
Just because they did some surgical enhancements, it's no one's business but yours.
But speaking of plastic, but there is another He-Man project in the works, also coming from the good folks at Netflix, and that's just simply He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is a reimagining of He-Man. Which when they first started talking about it, I was a little bit percolated because they were referring to it as anime. It's not anime. It's animated, dum-dum, because we also have a much expected, much anticipated live action He-Man redo, right? This was after the Dolph Lundgren, not his fault, but problematic production that we got. So a live action He-Man production is on the way, but obviously in these days and times, who the hell knows if and when we're going to get it. We're still waiting to get movies that have been wrapped for like 2 years. Looking at you, Black Widow. But on the same channel, Charlie, the same fucking channel, Netflix has 2.
It is
He-Mans,
everything I wanted,
and one isn't even fake. Or look, if you said, okay, look, here's one, but he's blue.
That's such an awesome.
Then I'd be like,
cut.
all right, okay, now I get it. Okay, it's understandable. What's going on?
It is this geek takeover that we've been able to pull off over the last decade or so, where we've literally, and I do mean we, as you hold a He-Man pop, the rise of Funko Pop, the takeover that Hasbro's done of so many beloved brands to bring us new Power Rangers toys, new Ghostbuster toys. This geek takeover has finally brought us to a point where we are going to have potentially 3 simultaneous He-Menses. That is fucking awesome. And honestly,
like, how do you even pluralize it? It's
honestly,
unbelievable.
if this hits the home run that it might, if suddenly He-Man's back on top, because remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, He-Man's who showed up to be like, step aside, Star Wars. There's a new ruler. Was it inverted? Did Star Wars knock He-Man off the pedestal, or
that's a whole different thing.
Regardless, He-Man was a $1 billion company. The slime pit started the slime craze. It wasn't flubber that burnt everyone's hands. It was a He-Man toy is what made slime and ooze and mutagen so goddamn in vogue, to the point where it's back. Of course He-Man's back. They want their slime.
He's there for the slime.
But there's a huge group of people who want the 2000 He-Man series to get a refresh and sequelize.
Dude, the 2000 He-Man series, which was
awesome.
Largely.
How dare you? How dare you? That series ruled.
I will say though that it was better than the late or the early 90s He-Man attempt that was made. I'll give him that. No, what you're referring to, and credit where credit's due, always.
Thank you.
And this obviously this is also in the realm of Netflix. So I mean, they see their analytics. They know what they're doing. I think they saw the action that their He-Man episode of The Toys That Made Us did gangbusters. So much so that they took that little 30-minute mini documentary about how He-Man came to be and all the hoops that then needed to be jumped through. And they said, okay, you know what? Let's throw out there this hour-and-a-half version. So they also ended up producing like a full documentary called The Power of Grayskull, which is in essence like a long play version of the Toys That Made Us episode, which is dynamite. Again, they're both actively on Netflix right now. If you haven't seen them, and you have even a passing interest in He-Man or toys from the 80s, or frankly, me, watch them now, because they informed so much of kind of who I became. So apologies for that, but it's He-Man's fault. What Charlie was referring to earlier was, I'll give you the short version because it's very interesting and it could be its own separate topic, because ironically, it's not my topic. What ended up happening was, I believe it was Mattel, right? Mattel was huge because Mattel had Barbie and Mattel had Hot Wheels, and those toys flew off the shelf. They were self-fueling, for no pun intended. They just were, right? They were like property oriented. They weren't based on licensing something else. When Mattel attempted licensing products or properties, they were like only okay. Like they speak about, and the documentary goes into more detail, but one of my favorite movies as a kid coming up was Clash of the Titans. Still angry about those remakes. So Mattel back in the 80s, they licensed the Clash of the Titans line and made toys. I know because I owned them. They were a little rubbery, so. But they were like 3 3/4, what you'd kind of expect back then. And they make these toys. The movie came out and closed within the same month. And poor Mattel sitting here with all of this inventory, like, okay, well, now what? So they were recently burned by the time that Lucas and company came to them and said, hey, we've got this movie coming out. It's called Star Wars. We think it's going to really lend to an awesome toy line and kids are going to really be into it. And
Fuck you, George Lucas!
Mattel was like, meh, pass. By the time that they knew that by the time that they would get those toys on the shelves, the movie would have come and gone, and they would have been in the exact same predicament. Whereas opposed to Barbie or Hot Wheels, they just spit out more. It didn't need to have a resource material. So they passed. And then whoever that was, it not Hasbro, but Kenner, somebody, another toy company comes along and is like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, we'll do it. And ironically, it was led by a cat who had been over at Mattel. And the fucking balls on this guy, like he must have left Mattel because they couldn't find a chair to support both him and his balls. He probably needed 2 chairs because he was like, yeah, we'll fucking do it. You got it. Give us the license. And they had the same exact predicament. Look, it take you only have X amount of time to render, design, have products produced, shipped. Like the calendar is a calendar. So they said, yeah, okay. And what they did was, knowing that they weren't going to have the toys out in time for Christmas after the movie release, they fucking gave children a coupon. Can you imagine
Here's
little
a cardboard
Charlie
cutout, Dick.
Charlie sitting under the tree, opening for all his heart content? He's like, oh, I can't. What is this? What's this gonna be? Oh, it's a giant fucking cardboard promissory note. What the fuck? And that's exactly what they did over there with the Star Wars toys. The original first line, which like 12 characters, no vehicles, no nothing. They were like, yeah, we'll send them to you when we make them. That was their solution to it, and it was just fine. It worked. But
those little kids were like, yeah.
Yeah, like, well, that's the thing too. Like Christmas, you didn't have just one present. Like, yeah, fine. That's like that coupon went into the sock pile,
yeah,
the scarf pile, into the sweaters from Aunt Tilly pile, and then a few months later, like, oh shit, I got mail. I'm just a stupid kid, and then all of a sudden, these Star Wars toys started showing up.
Just so fresh,
unbelievable. But now back at Mattel Land, they were like, oh, the movie was a huge success. Oh, it's going to be like a cultural phenomenon forever, even in 2021. Cool. Still making money off those toys. Oh, that's really awesome. We still have Barbie and Hot Wheels though, right? They're like, nah. We need to come up with our own shit. And that's what they did. So He-Man started originally. He didn't have source material. He wasn't a comic book first. He certainly wasn't a cartoon or a movie first. He was a toy line first, which is, is not typical. That's not the way that they did things prior, and now it's really changed the game. They came out with the toy, and they had no backstory, right, for the characters, so they inserted little mini comic books.
So good.
Somebody like me, I was
so different.
I'm in. I'm automatically in. Guy in furry pajamas, comic book is free of charge. I'm all the way in, son. So from day one, I was all about He-Man. I had them all. And the other thing, and this is where things got kind of crazy for He-Man, was it sold like hotcakes. So like, we need more. And they're like, oh, you want more? Here's Stinkor. Here's and he smells. Here's the
tree oil. Yeah.
Here's Moss Man, and he's covered in moss. You're like, really, guys? I want them fast, but take a minute.
I love that logic never went away, because when they tried to do like the big He-Man refresh, when He-Man was starting to wane and Ninja Turtles were about to take over, they were like, He-Man got a friend. His name is Hero, baby, red cape, looking like Clark Kent.
It's funny that you said that, because the again, not having any basis. With the exception of like Conan, right?
Yeah.
So Mattel also was offered and accepted the Conan license. So like, yeah, we like Conan, we like barbarian shit, obviously. So they took the property and they fucking pitched it the same day that they pitched He-Man. The problem with the Conan property was that you're pitching a toy line for children, and Conan was rated R. And just titties and blood flopping all over the place in equal amounts. They were like, yeah, we're going to have a real issue putting these toys on the shelves.
He-Man.
Packet. And it was unbelievable.
It went from He-Man and the Master of the Universe. It was almost Conan and the Lamentations of the Women's.
Yeah, you nailed it. You fucking nailed it. But yeah, again, that all being said, the He-Man backstory is so rich. A lot of it is laughable looking at it as an adult. But that back then, Charlie, I was all about it. One of the funniest spoiler alert, one of the funniest moments, they're talking about like kind of spitting out these characters just as fast as they possibly could. And you know, the original artwork was done in this like sword and sorcery style,
Yeah, it's
and was
gorgeous.
all fucking serious
It's
business.
gorgeous.
And the toys had that aesthetic to them, like on the card, the backings and things like that. So you look at it, like, this is some serious shit. But then when you watch the cartoon, which came after the fact, only as part of the toy presentation, it was like very light. And you mentioned the turtles very similar. You look at the comic book that they originate from, that's some dark shit. You watch the cartoon like, pizza dude, the fuck you, what is this shit?
Could
But
you imagine that whiplash? Like, they're doing a cartoon based on my favorite straight up murdering turtles?
my murderous reptile.
Cowabunga!
Oh, cool. Oh, the sewer grate. The sewer grate's the front of the van. Oh, that's hilarious. Fucking kill me now. Kill me now, dude. So one of Skeletor's henchmen was a gentleman from the depths, from Aqualand, and using. So they were like He-Man, Man at Arms, Beast Man. Like here we have an aquatic character with gills and scales and shit like that. Like what are we gonna call him? Oh, I know what we call him. Seaman. Seaman? You wanna call this toy for children Seaman? Really? I'm gonna give you a minute, George. You think this one out, and it inevitably had to be naturally one of the comic book writers. I was like, "Hey, stoop, stoop, dum, moron."
Hey, Stu!
Call him Merman, bro. What are you doing? Don't get sued. Call him Merman. Let's call it a day.
How goddamn awesome would the Seaman action figure be now for collectors? Like, I spent $6,000 on a mint package Seaman. I just imagine
a character with the spout that's like sprayed water. That should have been Seaman.
Could you imagine like Don Draper, a la Mad Men, just being like, "What did you want to name this character?" Just putting out a cigarette like on the artist's face, like, "You goddamn idiot."
I was drinking. So slow. That's real good. Why don't you come back to the next meeting after you declare bankruptcy? Idiot. So yeah. So
you don't even deserve Conan, you sons of bitches.
The He-Man backstory is just outstanding. And then again, the Don Draper of it all, they're pitching this new toy line to like Toys R Us and Funland or whatever the fuck what their competitor was at the time, like the Walmart, like their big toy carrying iterations, and they were like, well, if it's not tied into a movie, so I'll put it this way. So whoever Toys R Us, whoever number 2 in the toy market was, they were like, oh, the comic books are included in the packaging. That's awesome. That's great. So then a little while later, when they go to the Toys R Us pitch, they were like, yeah, no, these kids, they'll know about the character and the backstory because we're putting a little comic book in there. And the guy like, cool. And you say the toys are for 3-year-old and up? They're like, yeah. If they could buy them, we'll sell them to them. Like, what fucking 3-year-old do you know reads comic books, you moron? So they're like, oh yeah, well, but don't forget about the cartoon though. They went into these pitches.
You're shitting me.
No, I shit you not, sir. So they went into these pitches with just the toys. And ironically, so here's another thing, a little factoid again, before we actually move on, was
we have a minute left.
It's fine, that's fine. A minute's all I need. So they went in with these like huge renders, and these toys were big. Like toys at the time were the 3 3/4, like they were not fucking He-Man, right? They weren't big
6
bulky
inches,
bitches. I'll force perspective. So they said, like, look, let's render as many as we can. But when they got to the finish line, they were out of money for like whipping these shits up. Like they were not articulated. They were basically blocks. And they're like, we need something more. Like we need more vehicles, more accessories, blah, blah, blah. One of the other properties that they had going back a little bit was called Big Jim. Now, Big Jim was just basically, again, like the original G.I. Joe guys. They were fucking dolls. They were just dolls for boys, and they gave them action things and little props and shit like that. and they're like, oh, it's an action figure, it's not a doll. Hey, motherfucker walks and talks like a doll. It's a doll, bro.
If it has rooted hair, it's a
Yeah,
doll.
yeah, exactly. It's got the same genitalia as Barbie. It's a doll. So Big Jim was like a jungle guy, like an action man, and one of his accessories was a fucking tiger, like a Bengal tiger.
Yes, yes.
Big Jim was like a 12-inch fucking doll, whereas He-Man was like 5 and change. And they're like, give me that fucking Big Jim tiger. And they're like, dude, the fucking tiger is huge. It's like relative to He-Man, it'll be like a fucking horse. So the powers that people like,
God damn it, they're good.
throw a fucking saddle on them, let them ride it like a horse. We got no time, buddy. And that's how they went into that presentation, and that's how they sold that shit. And He-Man, for that window of time, I want to call it like 5 to 7 years, outsold everything. Before Jar Jar, He-Man was the Star Wars killer. Bang!
That's fucking amazing. That was all a lead-in for your inevitable.
Oh!
Oh man! If anyone wanted proof that this show is the last real podcast on Earth, there was definitely a different topic, and instead now I'm just boned up for He-Man. I feel like I have to run to Target or Walmart. I need a He-Man and a Skeletor on my desk
of US Comics. Join us next week for the conclusion. See what happens to Arnold in the back of the bicycle shop.
Oh God, there is something just so a good idea, or better yet, an idea that has been proven to make money. They will take as many at-bats as they need. He-Man's never left toy stores. They keep trying to bring him back in different ways. They're now on their third iteration of a classics line.
Adults that have their own wallets are now buying the same characters that they owned as like 9, 8, 7-year-olds. It's unbelievable. And we're still talking about He-Man. You know, like that's like pop culture fuel, right? If you're able to unalterably insert yourself in the fibers of pop culture, like He-Man's not going anywhere. So now that I say that, a similar situation to prior regarding the Superman and Lois show, similar to Mechagodzilla, I'm gonna do a full 180 and be like, yeah, man, give me the more He-Man properties, the better, bro. The one I will say is this: the one that I definitely do want, having these reappearances of things that you love. And I do realize that we've gotten, actually, ironically, in a more anime style, now that we do have several animated versions of He-Man coming our way, and we are promised a live action second shot at the property. Where's my live action She-Ra? If they really wanted to tickle my undercarriage, you would have She-Ra just show up in the live action. Don't bury the lead. Don't tease me. Don't Easter egg me. I don't want to see a unicorn. I don't want to see a guy with like a heart on his breastplate. I want nothing, no intro at all. I just want her to pop up, and then, like, if you, God willing, we're back in the theaters, that'll be the moment where you stand up and be like, fucking She-Ra.
How great would it be if, like, He-Man's getting overwhelmed by like snake men, and suddenly we just have one of those like just 6 snake heads cut off, and it's goddamn her with her, what was this, like the sword of majesty or her bubble gun, whatever.
All I can say is that if anyone knows how to handle some snakes, it is She-Ra. Bang again.
There's no better ending for an episode of US Comics than that comment for the CEO of US Comics. I am your very humble, very youthful, very enigmatic COO of US Comics. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share the video, share the audio. Make sure you follow us on everywhere, be it YouTube, iTunes, here on Facebook,
on
Instagram.
the street.
on the street, just start screaming out your window, hey,
Do it.
yo, listen to US Comics Cast, suckers. For this show, you are our lifeblood, and we thank you for joining us. But my brother, there is only one way we end episodes of US Comics Cast, so tell the people how that is.
It's really simple, kids. First, you got to turn the power on. Then you got to turn the volume up. Then you got to tune Bad Mary in and open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky, I have the power. Nah, just playing. You say, save me, space girl. We out.